Everyone wishes for a new house in life. Some can fulfill their dreams, some cannot. Here I am also going to fulfill my dreams. I am very anxious to adopt my new house, but will this house welcome me, or will it embrace me like a demon and end my existence? No one knows whether the journey is the end, or the beginning of a new war. The cat's meows disturbed my sleep. I was just getting out of bed when suddenly I felt someone walking with light footsteps. I turned on the light in the room and suddenly felt as if there was lightning from the clouds outside the room. Till this evening the weather was clear, and when I parked the car in the garage, the stars were visible in the sky. It was my first night in this new house, and it was becoming painful for me to spend the night here. Just in the evening I took the key of this house from the owner of the house. I bought this house at a very reasonable price. I picked up the pistol and opened the door of the room and looked outside, but I did not see any soul. I had gone round the whole house, but I neither saw a cat nor any sign of the presence of a human being. It was very strange to me what it was in this newly built house that caused me to see all this happening. I felt thirsty, so I went to the kitchen and filled a glass of water as soon as I opened the tap. Seeing this scene sent a shiver down my spine. The color of the water was red. I felt as if I had filled a glass with human blood. It was now necessary for me to find out the facts. But even going to the roof in the middle of the night was not without danger. I was just thinking about this when I heard the sound of a very faint howl, then the meowing of a cat. This time I was startled. I called my friend Joseph and informed him of the whole situation. "How can it be?" Joseph said as soon as he heard me. "I am telling the truth, and I think what I am saying is true," I said with finality. "Let's see if this is so, then why is it?" Joseph finally accepted my point. "Then when are you coming to me?" I asked the question. "Dude, it is now 2 o'clock in the night and you are asking to come, then let's investigate this matter now," Joseph immediately answered and hung up. I sensed something special in the cat's meows that caused me to wake up Joseph in the middle of the night and ask him to come to my house. It was imperative that this matter be resolved tonight. Actually, yesterday my wife had to come with the goods and this crazy woman had to tell me to change the house again. We had such a hard time finding a beach house, and it was so cheap that the poor owner was worried, but today's events proved why he wanted to sell it. It might take half an hour for Joseph to come. While I was thinking about what to do, I heard the bells ringing at the temple. Tonight was going to be scary for me. For me it was like hearing everything but not seeing anything. Sometimes blue and sometimes black light was visible on the curtains on the window of the room. I used to love adventure from the beginning, but this adventure was proving to be a bit too difficult for me. As fast as I moved towards the light it would disappear, and as soon as I moved away it would come back to haunt me. The strange thing for me was that the temple bell rang softly when I was away from the room, and the surprising thing for me was that I was feeling it all. Like I'm playing a game show. How long was this eye rolling going on? I was going crazy within 5 minutes of just calling Joseph. I started shouting loudly, "Whatever it is, come forward. If you are so brave, fight me. I am not afraid." I even turned on the light in the rooms. I felt like I was in a palace of white light, and I was running here and there alone. I started remembering God deeply so that the fear inside me would disappear, but something was born inside me which told me that there is something that is rarely seen. 15 minutes had passed, my nerves were getting nervous. My tongue was getting dry. I was just about to decide the next strategy when the electricity went out, and the voices that were coming were suddenly silenced. At the same time, I was startled by the sound of the siren of the police van. I thought that perhaps Joseph was bringing the police along, but one thing happened: that the lights coming on the window of my room were no longer coming. Those lights disappeared only after the arrival of the police van. Suddenly, the sound of the doorbell jolted my body. I felt like I was pushed from behind. I rushed to the door and looked through the keyhole to see that Joseph had arrived. I came to my senses. "We have caught these suspects, sir," the police officer said on the phone. "Good indeed. Who are they?" I inquired. "Sir, from whom you bought the house. They are the relatives of the owner who wanted to get it to them at a cheap price. Then they were doing it to scare you so that you would be scared and vacate the house and they can stay here." The police officer's expression was very happy. I hung up the phone saying congratulations. It was important to me that I learned the secret before my wife came, after which the fear disappeared. Actually, as soon as Joseph came, I told him that I was scared, but it wasn't like I was going to die. It could be that if I had a weak nerve, I might have vacated the house at midnight. I told Joseph that the voices I was hearing were the same, that is, there was no difference in their lips and tone. You must have observed that whenever a person shouts repeatedly, there is a slight difference in the sound, but that was not the case here. Someone had recorded the cat's meows and so on, so I was shocked that all this was happening for a reason. Together with Joseph, I first inspected the roof of the house, and when I saw it, I found that someone had slaughtered an animal and poured the blood into the water tank, due to which the water in the tap was coming in red color. Joseph, like a detective, had also discovered that it was the blood of a bull. After that, we knew where the sounds were coming from. The whole arrangement was made by those who threw us out of the house. The CCTV camera was installed in the form of a chandelier in every room, due to which my movements were also being seen. When the electricity went out, the sounds and my movements were nowhere to be seen. So those who fled after seeing the sirens of the police van were apprehensive that they were spotted by the police in the middle of the night with suspicious equipment. There was nothing in the room except the chandelier from which any sound could reach me. Joseph opened the electrical switchboard and found that the suspects had placed a small speaker from which the sounds, etc. As the movement was being watched by the TV camera, accordingly these sounds could be heard in every room. We took the speakers out of every room. It was just a coincidence that the police van was passing by, and if the suspects had not run away, they might not have been caught. And I also had to hear from my wife that you have taken a house where ghosts live. Now it is another matter that she looks like a ghost without makeup.